What if S Club 7 had brought out their own party adventure video game? Hello, welcome to Chill and Comfort Gaming's first long-formed YouTube video. I am so excited to do this. I've been doing research for months to see if S Club 7 could have brought out their own adventure party game, and let's just say I have notes for this. So if you see me referring to my tablet, then you know why. So there are a couple of things that I want to cover. So I want to talk about the party side of the game, and I want to talk about how I want the party game to be accessible as possible. I will go into more detail with this, but I'm going to get the iToy involved from the PS2. I'm getting dance mats involved. I want to get accessible controllers involved in this as well. So we've got the party side of things to cover. I also am going to go through the TV series that they had. So they had 4 seasons of them just traveling around the world, and the drama that they had in the TV series. I couldn't not try and make a video game around this. For example, you're going to be swimming with dolphins, and you've got a level where you're having to deal with an alligator, and there's levels where you're sneaking around. I really mean I have gone to I have really gone to town with this idea. I'm also going to give you a little bit of insight with the fact that, they did bring out a couple of interactive CDs, and I didn't know this until I took a deep dive. But if you have a Rachel Stevens CD, some of her CDs had games if you put them into the computer. Like I said, I only found this out when I was taking a deep dive, and I think it's amazing that Rachel Stevens has a mini game. And now, I'm not an artist by any means, but I could do some very basic Photoshop. So I've kind of designed like a draft of what the cover of the game would have been like. Now, like I said, I'm not an artist, but I think this is something that I could work on in the future. So should we just get into it? Let's do it. So S Club 7 were a British band that were absolutely huge, sort of like in the late 90s to early 2000s. And in the band, they had 7 members. So they had Joe, they had Tina, they had Rachel, they had Hannah. And then for the boys, they had Bradley, John, and God rest his soul now, we had Paul, who, I will be real, Paul was my favourite band member. But they brought out some absolutely incredible songs. Now, coming up to recording this video, I've been listening to their songs so much in the car, and I kept hearing songs like, oh yeah, they brought out this song and this song and this song. So you might know some of their songs, such as S Club. There ain't nobody like an S Club party. Reach for the stars, and when that rainbow shining over you, that's when your dreams will all come true. Don't stop moving to the funky, funky beat. Don't stop moving to the S Club beat, beat. And then I love the bit in Never Had a Dream Come True where Joe goes, no, 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 no! Never had a dream come true. Oh God, honestly, I absolutely love that song. I can't sing it, but I love it. In the early 90s to 2000s, no matter where you went, you would be hearing an S Club 7 song. Like when I was at primary school, you used to always have those little discos like in the summertime or whenever it was Halloween. You know, when you had the DJs where they just had like 4 colourful lights and they always played the same songs. Well, Don't Stop Moving by S Club 7 is guaranteed to be played at a primary school disco in the early 2000s. And, they had the TV series that everybody was like really gripped onto, which I am going to talk about a bit later. Like, I was such a huge fan of S Club 7. I remember having a poster on my wall, and my best friend at the time came round, and when you've got like the printing company that have done the posters, well, we thought that the number on it was actually S Club 7's number, so we tried to ring them, and we left them a voice message. It's so silly now, but obviously when you're a kid, like, your imagination is just going absolutely wild. So yeah, we thought we were ringing S Club 7, and it obviously wasn't S Club 7. It was the publishing company that decided to print the posters. So that gives you an insight of what I was like as a kid. And also, as well, just going back to, the blast from the past, like, I used to love Top of the Pops magazine as well. And I always used to love it when you used to cut the posters and stick them on your wardrobe. I am pretty confident, from what I remember, is I had an S Club 7 one that I just cut out of the magazine. And I'm pretty sure I had a Paul poster as well, because like I said, he was my favourite. God rest his soul. But they were just amazing, weren't they? I've got my tablet for this next bit because I need to make sure that I'm referring to my notes for this. But we're going to talk about the interactive CD-ROMs that S Club 7 brought out, and I'm going to talk about some of the mini games. Now, I do want to give a shout out to the world of S Club 7 because I learned a lot from their page. So I might reference them here and there. And also I want to thank the S Club 7 fandom as well, because I got a lot of my research from them. I was looking into other artists that have brought out a video game, and I just don't understand how S Club 7 never had a party game or adventure game, because there was so much potential there, especially with all the hype that was going on around them. I just don't understand how a video game, like a party adventure game, just didn't exist. But I will tell you some artists that did bring out a video game. So Spice Girls brought out a game on the PS1 called Spice World, which is a game where you could remix the music, then do the choreography, and then it also had a section where you could learn about the Spice Girls, and it had interviews and things like that in the game. And the only reason why I knew about it in the first place is because I had a winter release 98 demo disc on the PS1, which showed some gameplay preview. So that's how I ended up knowing about it. There was Get Fit with Mel B. That was a game on the Xbox. So you plug the Xbox camera into the console and you can get fit with Mel B. Black Eyed Peas had something similar. It wasn't a fitness game, but it was called the Black Eyed Peas Live Experience. So again, you plug in your camera into your Xbox and you can just go and party with Black Eyed Peas. Britney Spears had a game on the PS2 called Dance Beat, which was sort of a rhythm game, sort of similar to the Dance Mat, but it was just a slightly different layout. Avicii had a game called Invector, which is a rhythm game. ABBA had a Wii game called You Can Dance. If you had a PS2 growing up, I can guarantee that you had SingStar, which was basically a karaoke game. And Queen and Take That had their own dedicated game. Guitar Hero had dedicated games to Metallica and Aerosmith. And Jojo Siwa brought out a game a few years ago called Worldwide Party. And that was the name of the S Club 7 game that I've come up with. So me and Jojo Siwa clearly have very similar ideas. I can't believe I got my hands on this. This was £6 on eBay. And let me tell you, I went down a nostalgia trip, and this is the most 2000s thing that I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. So this is the S Club 7 software activity pack. Now, I did have a bit of an issue getting this started at first because with my PC, it's obviously like newer software, and for some reason, when you try and play older games, it's quite difficult to get things going. But I did a bit of digging in the files and I managed to find most of what was on this CD. The first thing I have to talk about, which was a big thing in the 2000s, was you wanted to print every single thing off. Whether you played like a flash game online or you had a CD, they wanted you to print stuff off. So they have this section where you could print off a little sign for your bedroom door and it says my room, and you could choose which S Club 7 member you had at the side. You could also print off some posters as well. So at some point I do want to print these off just to see what it looks like in 2026. They also have a solitaire section, and basically the games aren't different to normal solitaire, but on the cards it does have pictures of S Club 7. So when you find the Queen of Hearts card, it has all the girl members from S Club 7 on the card. I was like, that is so 2000s. But there wasn't just the one game in the solitaire section, like there's absolutely loads. They also have a word search, but what made me laugh about this is if you struggled, you could just press one button and go, finished! They made it so easy to do the word search, but it would be like trying to find the band members, or I think they did the first names on one word search and then the last names on a different word search. So if you do want to play an S Club 7 word search, go and find yourself a copy of the S Club 7 software activities pack. Now, my favourite part of this CD was the jigsaw part. You could, you could choose which band member jigsaw that you wanted to do, and I chose to do Bradley's jigsaw. So Bradley is this band member here. I never thought in my 30s that I would be sat one evening doing a Bradley jigsaw, and the image on the screen was so pixelated. I loved it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And you know what? It took me about 20 minutes to do. Like, this wasn't the easiest jigsaw, but I'm here for it, and I would do it again. Why not? You only live once, right? So yeah, this is the S Club 7's software activity pack. S Club 7 also brought out another interactive CD-ROM, which was called S Club 7 on the Road, which had a variety of mini games. Now, I will be honest, I tried to get a copy of this, but it was £55. And as much as I like S Club 7, I'm a girl with not a lot of money right now, and I can't afford to pay £55 for an S Club 7 game. But not all is lost, because the World of S Club 7 have posted a long form video of what was on the CD. So big shout out to the World of S Club 7. Also on the S Club 7 fandom website, they've given a little description of what was on each minigame. Driving ambition. Help Rachel drive safely to pick up the other band members and get them to the airport on time. S Club Party, Tina's party planning game. You can design party stuff, placemats, invitation, name cards, and door signs. Again, this was a very 2000s thing. Everybody wanted to print off everything so they could make their room look extra groovy. Nobody says groovy anymore, do they? Then another mini game was the interview section, which was Paul's section. So it says use a microphone to interview band members. There are 10 questions, and you can ask any of the 7 members these 10 questions. Hit the track. So when I looked, it didn't say whose section this was. A music identification game. You hear short clips of S Club songs and must match them to the right song or music video. The pace gets faster as you go on. Now, this is the kind of mini game that I would want to play. Like, you've just got that pressure of like, oh, I want to get it right. And when you do get it right, you're absolutely buzzing. Dress for success. This is Bradley's section. You help Bradley choose his outfit from mixed up clothes in his wardrobe. Then you've got a band rehearsal karaoke section, which you sing along to S Club 7. You can rehearse, you can record, and play back your performance using the built-in microphone. I'm really intrigued of how they did this back in the 2000s, because obviously the technology wasn't the same as it is now. That sort of side of things actually fascinates me. And the final section is Reach the Top. So it's a quiz knowledge game, and you've got to answer questions about S Club 7, which is a multiple choice game to climb up the charts. Did you know that Rachel Stevens even had mini flash games? What you do is you get some of her singles, so I'm going to go through that in a minute, but you put them into your CD-ROM on your computer and you got flash games. The one that I found that made me laugh out loud, again, I want to reference the World of S Club 7 because I only found this out because I watched their video. But on the I Said Never Again CD, she had a video game called Jailbreak. Now, this mini flash game is you are Rachel Stevens and you break out of jail. I don't really know the story about this game or anything like that. I don't know the context, But I just love the fact that people sat down in a meeting and was like, right, on this CD, we need to have a game where Rachel Stevens is breaking out of prison. And Rachel's like, okay, yeah, let's do it, let's go. But Rachel, I don't think you'll ever see little old me doing a YouTube video, but all I'm going to say is I'm absolutely here for it. If you put in her CD called So Good, they had a memory game, which I would be absolutely terrible at because my memory is just not great. And then I'm not sure what the game was for this, but it was Capture the Heart, which was featured on Rachel Stevens' Negotiate with Love. So yeah, she had a couple of Flash games as well. Before we go into my ideas of what an S Club 7 video game would look like, I do want to mention that they did have a couple of songs that were featured in video games. So there is a game called We Sing Encore where they feature the song Don't Stop Moving. In SingStar as well on the PS2, they had Don't Stop Moving. There was a dance stage party edition on the PS1, which was like a dance mat game. Their song, Don't Stop Moving, I think it was on that game. And Reach for the Stars was featured on Dance UK, which was another dance mat game. It's time to bring my ideas to the table of what if S Club 7 had brought out a video game. So I'm going to do the first section, which is the whole party section, and I want to talk about how I want to make this game as accessible as I can. We're then going to go into the TV series, which is going to be a very long section, as I've gone through pretty much every single episode and how you can turn those episodes into a level for a video game. And then we're going to get on to the game cover that I have designed and what it may potentially look like. Are you ready? Because I am. So firstly, I want to talk about the party section, which is going to feature every single song that S Club 7 ever released. So that'll be the biggest hits or any songs that are on the album that maybe don't get a lot of spotlight. And I also want it to feature every song that was sung in the TV series. And what I want for this party section is I want you, the player, to choose how you want to party. Let me elaborate a little bit further. Now, I feel very, very strongly about this, but the first way that I want this game to be accessible is to feature sign language. Now, I was kindly invited on Good Game Dan's and Poetic Surge Gaming's podcast, the Good Poets Gaming podcast on Spotify, if you do want to check that out. And this was a topic that we discussed for quite some time as to why sign language, A, isn't represented enough in video games, and B, why isn't it an option? You know, the deaf community should be able to enjoy video games. You know, deaf people can go to a concert and they can see the interpreter from the side, and usually the interpreter's like dancing away and making concerts absolutely inclusive for the deaf community. But why is that not an option in video games? I just don't understand why it's missing. I did a project on sign language at college, and I wanted to do a project about how sign language is represented and where you can see and access sign language. And one of the things that I found, do you remember that song, Put a Donk on It by the Blackout Crew? Well, on a music channel, they had a person to the right hand side of the screen and they managed to do the whole song doing sign language, and this person is giving it everything they've got with like they're dancing like this and then like different face expressions and that, and it's incredible to watch. And I feel like if there was something like this in the S Club 7 video game, it would just be absolutely class. So if you are a person that communicates through sign language, you could just access the game and just party away. But if you're somebody that wants to learn sign language, there could be a section in the party game where it goes through each song and it teaches you how to do the sign language for that song. And then you've got the party section where you're on camera and you get to see how you're doing the sign language. I just think it would just be a completely new idea. I mean, I don't know if there is any games that feature anything like this. And if there is, and I don't know about it, just comment below. But I really do feel like this would really open some doors, not only for people that are in the deaf community to play this game, but also for people that are wanting to learn. I just feel like this would make the S Club 7 party game really, really special. If you're not necessarily a gamer, but you love karaoke, then you should be able to just plug in a microphone into whatever console you're playing and you can just sing along and sing to your heart's content and sing until you annoy the neighbours. For anybody who is not a gamer watching this, there was a game on the PS2 called SingStar, and then they have brought out further SingStar games as consoles have gone on, but I'm just mostly familiar with the PS2 version. And in the PS2 SingStar, so you could plug in your iToy camera and see yourself on the screen if you wish. If you don't want to do that, you can just watch the music video. But when you were singing into your microphones, they would have a little coloured bar on the screen depending on what colour your microphone is. And you got to just sing and you score points on how well you sing. So if people just want to do like a little karaoke section, then that will also be an option on the S Club 7 video game. Another way that you can have an S Club party is if you plug in your console's camera, so like an iToy, into your console and then you can dance on the screen. So I would want this to be very similar to the PS2 game iToy Groove. So with iToy Groove, you would be in the middle of the screen and you would have little headsets at the side of you. And what you have to do is you have to dance in time with the beat. So, for example, I can't remember if it's like a little disc or a little smiley face that goes towards the headset, but the little icon would fly to the headset and you would have to hit it when they match. So it's basically like a little rhythm game. It kind of works similar to a dance mat, but I feel like this would just be a really cool, nostalgic element to the game. Let's bring the dance mat back, please. Where have they gone? Did they even bring out a dance mat for later consoles? Like, I don't know. I remember having a Dance UK dance mat, and I used to hit the arrows so hard with my foot that I think I actually broke my dance mat. But I do think I still have this broken dance mat in my mum and dad's garage. The dance mat, it was basically like, I can only describe, it was really crinkly but it was like a big plastic mat that had sensors in it, and you would watch the screen and you have to hit the mat in time with the beat. So if you're seeing the up arrow go towards you, for example, you have to then hit the up arrow on the dance mat to make it register. I just really want to bring the dance mat back. I think the only dance mats that I've seen in recent time is like when you go to an arcade. But where has the dance mats gone? Bring them back. I just want to use a dance mat. But yeah, like you could be like, reach for the stars, and you're like hitting your feet on the dance mat, and yeah, I let's make a dance mat a feature in the S Club 7 video game. Or say that you don't like the modern controller where you're having to press like your 4 buttons, then there's an option if you're playing on the Wii or on the PlayStation, you've got a censored controller. So you could have like a Beat Saber game where you've got to hit in time with the beat, like this. It just means that, you know, you can have a rhythm game without having to hold like a bog standard controller. And you can put some effects on where you get to do like the S Club, and it's all like really sparkly when you use your sensor controller. So I just have to get my notes up again for this one. So Logitech do this really interesting controller, and it's called Logitech G Adaptive Gaming Kit. So it's got sort of the mechanics of the Xbox controller, but the only way I can describe it looks a bit like a drum kit. So you've got 2 big circles, and you do have like the little arrow D-pad, but you can plug different jacks in it. So it means that all your buttons can be in a completely different place depending on what you need the controller for. I just think that more games should be adapting just to a variety of controllers. If you do want to watch a bit more information about this, then Logitech do a really cool video about how the Logitech adaptive gaming kit works. I can't believe that controllers like this even exist, but I'm so glad that they do. And I think there should be a section where you don't need a controller at all, but there is a feature where you can just watch and learn the dance moves. So, for example, if you want to learn the routine from Bring It All Back to You, you can literally just watch the video and somebody will teach you how to do all the dance moves. I also think it would be a really cool feature in the game if, say, if you wanted to be in the game, well, obviously not on camera, but you can either customize your own character just so that you could be part of S Club, or you can choose one of the band members and perform as them. And just like the Pop Idol game on the PS2, you will be enriched with a fabulous, fabulous wardrobe. So you can just have so many customizations options when it comes to character design. I hope that I have covered quite a lot of the accessibility sides of things, especially when it comes to the partying side of the S Club 7 game. I know that when I edit or upload this, I'll think of even more ideas of how this game could be accessible, but I really hope that we've made a pretty good start.